Hello everyone, I'm Ed Orcutt, your state representative from the 18th District. I represent portions of Cowlitz and Clark counties, including Camas, Washougal, Salmon Creek, Battleground, Ridgefield, and La Center, up through Woodland, Kalama, and Toutle to the county line. I'm reporting to you from the 2009 legislative session here in Olympia. Last week was the cutoff for bills to be considered in their House of Origin. That means if a House bill didn't pass the House last week, and if it isn't needed to implement the budget, it is considered dead for the rest of this session. The House bills that have passed now go over to the Senate for further consideration in Senate committees, and the same thing happens with the Senate bills here in the House. The priorities we saw last week from the majority party in the House of Representatives remain counter to what I believe the people of this state want and expect from their elected officials. I wish I could tell you we passed legislation in the final week before cutoff to help our struggling families and businesses. I wish I could tell you that we made health care more affordable and our streets safer, but I can't. Instead, the House last week passed legislation to make it easier for convicted felons to vote, allow child care workers to unionize, give some state union workers raises even though the governor has declared a salary freeze on all state employees, and they decided to extend state-sponsored health care for families making over $66,000 a year. While I disagree with some of the bills being offered by my colleagues, I've always tried to do it in a way that opposes the policy being offered, not the people behind the policy. I believe we can disagree with each other without being disagreeable. Over the years, this belief has allowed me to usher through legislation through the process on behalf of my constituents, even when I'm in the extreme minority, such as this year. So far, 5 of my bills are still alive and moving through the legislative process. I've talked to you about several of them before, so I won't go into details here. I'll just stick to the bill number and the brief title. House Bill 1038, Specialized Forest Products, is up for a hearing in the Senate this week. House Bill 1474, dealing with the Border County Higher Education Project. House Bill 1475, Agency Rulemaking. House Bill 1478, Deployed Military Personnel License Renewals, has already had a hearing. And House Bill 1838, the Spirit Lake Fishery, which is also up for a hearing this week. Most of these bills were brought to me by constituents just like yourselves. Some had a problem that needed fixing, or an idea to make state government more efficient or more accountable. Because they contacted me, we worked to shape those ideas into official legislation, several of which have a very good chance of passing into law. I want to thank all of you for coming out to our town halls that we had over the weekend. It was great to see so many of you out there. I think we had over 100 people at both of our town halls. Senator Joe Zarelli, Representative Jamie Herrera, and I visited with several people at the Oak Tree Restaurant in Woodland, and then later at Battleground City Hall. So those of you that were there, you provided some great feedback, ideas, opinions, and now we get to take these ideas and opinions back here to Olympia and try to get them implemented on your behalf. I always enjoy participating at town hall meetings and other community events. Visiting with constituents to gather your input is something I value because it helps me to represent your needs and your values here in the legislature. Again, I want to thank you for taking the time to find out what's happening in Olympia. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact my office. You can use my direct line at 360-786-7812. Again, that's 360-786-7812. You can use the toll-free hotline or send a message by email. And don't forget to check my webpage for news. I'm Ed Orcutt, your state representative. Thanks again for joining me.